hidden it. Otherwise, he would have seen her. Unless someone had hidden her, but then she'd somehow gotten free enough to make it to the window. He leaned back against the warm, worn brick of the building, fighting to keep down the meal he'd consumed earlier. The sound of sirens was growing closer, clearly headed this way. He knew there were no alarms in the building because he always checked. With this abandoned industrial area a good distance from the town of Lonesome, he should have had plenty of time to get away. His already frantic heart dropped like an anvil. Someone had to have called in the fire even before the first explosion. The same person who'd hidden that woman somewhere in the building so he wouldn't see her, wouldn't even know he'd killed her until the cops pounded on his door. This was supposed to be a quickie job, in and out, piece of cake. And the money? He'd been right. The money had been too good on such an old building on the outskirts of this tiny western town. Move! He quickly turned away from the flashing lights coming up the street and ducked behind the building. His rig was parked close by. He wasn't worried about getting away since he always planned for just such an unforeseen complication. It was why he was so good at his job. Until now. He felt the weight of the woman's death on him, making it hard to think since he had no idea what was going on. But as he drove, one thing became abundantly clear. He'd been set up, and he had no idea why. Had it simply been about getting rid of the woman? Or was Spark himself also the target? Not that it mattered. He'd been in this business long enough to know that even if he avoided capture by the cops, someone more dangerous would be coming for him. Either way, his life wasn't worth a plugged nickel right now. Chapter 1. Willie Colt was having the best ride of his life on the back of a rank bull with a reputation for maiming cowboys. All Willie had to do was hang on and wait for that 8-second horn to sound. But just as the horn blew, everything went wrong. He realized his hand was caught in his rigging. Hanging by his arm off the side of the bull, he was being tossed around like a rag doll. 2 rodeo clowns were trying to free him and keep the bull's attention as he was dragged across the arena. Then suddenly, the bull stopped, twisted around, horns gleaming in the arena lights as it lowered its head, and Willie jerked awake at the sound of an alarm going off. 2 nurses came running into the room. One rushed to his bedside. The other shut off the machine next to him as he attempted to sit up. He blinked. Part of him still caught in what he realized had been a nightmare from his former career as a bull rider on the rodeo circuit. "Deputy Colt, you need to calm down," the nurse was saying. "Dr. Bishop is on his way. You're fine." He doubted that. He was lying in a hospital bed with a bunch of devices attached to him. What the hell was he doing here? Where am I? How did I? Seattle General Hospital. He tried to still his raging heart. Moments ago, he'd been on a bull about to be gored. He touched the bandage on the back of his head and grimaced. Whatever had happened to him, it wasn't a bull that had done the damage. How long have I been here? You were brought in yesterday afternoon. He'd been here since yesterday? How did I get here? Ambulance, said the larger and sterner of the 2 nurses checking his vitals. His brain felt fuzzy. The 2 things became clear. He hadn't been riding a bull because he'd retired to become a deputy sheriff in Lonesome, Montana. He could see his Stetson and his sheriff's department jacket on a nearby chair, and he was in a hospital in Seattle. What the devil was he doing in Seattle, and how did he end up in this bed? What happened? He saw the nurses exchange a look. I believe you were attacked. Mugged, the smaller, nicer of the 2 said. Mugged? His head felt filled with cotton. But what was I doing in Seattle, Washington in the first place? Picking up an extradited prisoner. At least, that's what we were told. Her grim-faced co-worker shot her a look and said, You received a blow to your head. That's probably why you're a little confused right now. You have a concussion. The doctor will be in shortly if you have any more questions. Just try to remain still. As they left the room, he lay back against the pillow, wincing, and closed his eyes to ease the killer headache. Slowly, he recalled the drive out to Seattle.